Whatever your choice, let it rain this February with love.
This is getting better and best.
Only on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Kasavuli. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Brian Abuli. And of course, this is Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Channel 1. And you are watching the Legends edition. Let's look at the highlights first. Courting Western Kenya. Azimio, Kenya Kwanza and Oka in vote hunting mission.
If you have a private primary school which is going to grade 8, we are encouraging them, those who can afford, to work with us and also create solo junior secondary schools.
CBC Junior Secondary, private schools now at liberty to join initiative. The Drying Isiolo River, a local community-based organization, offers a solution. Thank you for joining us on the Legends edition. My name is Kasavuli. Of course, today on the Living Legends, we are featuring Dr. Jennifer Ririer. She is a financier who has catapulted or helped women's lives to be catapulted to where they wanted to be. So please don't go away. Stay with us. Later in the bulletin, she will be featured. And Fayaz Qureshi will be doing the interview. Of course, later on, we have Topi Liambela on the Sports Legends. And now on to our main stories of the day. Deputy President William Ruto has asked Kenyans to make independent choices in the forthcoming elections. Speaking in Kakamega while on a charm offensive in the western region, Ruto and his Kenyan Kwanza co-principals and Kenyans said Kenyans have a democratic right to choose their leaders devoid of external pressure in the forthcoming general elections. Ben Chumba reports.
Deputy President William Ruto, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula returned to Western Region to charm the Mulembe Nation to support the Kenya Kwanza Alliance in the August 9 general elections.
Munasema tuungane. UDA, ANC, Ford Kenya tuungane. Tutengeneze Kenya Kwanza.
Sisi watatu tuliona tukasema hata tukiwa na 60% ya capacity ya Kenya na tumegawana mara tatu, our aggregate strength will be only 20% each. Alafu wengine watapita nasi.
The battle for political supremacy in Western Kenya took center stage in Kakamega as Kenya Kwanza Alliance principals accused a section of leaders from the region of sycophancy and feigning disunity among the Mulembe Nation.
Yeye ameogopa kusimama, ameogopa kuresign, lakini anasunguka tu hapa. Hata jana amekuwa hapa Butere akisema mumpigie Raila kura. Huyo ndiye anahujumu umoja wetu.
In popularizing their new outfit, the Kenya Kwanza team held a series of rallies at Munganga, Mumias East before proceeding to Navokolo Center and Amalemba grounds in Kakamega, where they asked Kenyans to reject leaders being imposed on them.
Mumesikia kuna watu wengine Nairobi huko kwa mahoteli na maofisi ati wanasema watatupanga, ati watatupangia nani atakuwa kiongozi wetu. Ndio tunawaambia wale ambao wanajaribu kupanga wananchi wa Kenya kwa maofisi na mahoteli, mwaka huu mtajua hamjui. Wakenya hawa wamechanuka.
Hawa jamaa wanafikiri sisi ni mchezo. We need to know who are we competing with on the ballot. Kwa sababu hii ingine ni kibaraka.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade are expected to visit Baringo Senator Gideon Moi's backyard tomorrow. Ben Chumba, Legends Edition.
The Azimio La Umoja Brigade pitched camp in Busia County as they continued to popularize their presidential candidate Raila Odinga. The leaders took issue with Deputy President William Ruto that they said lacked regard for the president. Achola Simon with the details.
The Azimio La Umoja Brigade continued with their presidential campaigns even in the absence of their presidential candidate Raila Odinga.
Kwa mlima sisi tumeshikilia baba. Na nyinyi ndio mko kwa boda hapa. Nataka kuwauliza mlichukua kura zenyu?
Naitwa brigade ya baba ya Azimio. Na leo wamekuja hapa kuendelea kuuza manifesto ya baba kama president wetu.
Tunataka mkoa wa Magharibi tusimame pamoja na baba tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8.
The team pitching camp in Busia County as they urged the more than 300,000 registered voters in the border county to vote for their presidential candidate. They said the locals stood to benefit more from Azimio La Umoja administration than they would in any other regime.
Hii watu hakuna content wako naye. They have no substance. Wanakuja wanawadanganya wanaambia sijui bottom up.
Raila Odinga akiweka ahadi anakamilisha. Ameweka ahadi ya katiba mpya ilikamilika. Ya ugatuzi ilikamilika. Ya masomo bure pamoja na Kibaki ilikamilika. Ya mabarabara ilikamilika.
They defended Raila from accusations that he is a government project. They also lashed out at the deputy president, claiming he lacked respect for the president.
Awaje kutuzi rais kila saa. Awaje kutukana rais kila saa. Nimesikia Murkomen sahi akisema ati rais heshimu State House.
Ni miaka inaongoza ama ni akili? Unaweza kuwa mzee lakini akili zako ziko sawa.
You can buy some leaders from Western Kenya. You can even buy some parties from Western Kenya, but you cannot buy the people of Western Kenya.
The team heads to Migori and Homa Bay counties on Sunday. Achola Simon, Legends Edition, Busia County.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has scoffed at the move by ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula to join the Kenya Kwanza alliance, accusing them of failing to withstand political pressure. Kalonzo was speaking during a tour of Kakamega County by the One Kenya Alliance, where the leaders announced that talks to collaborate with like-minded political parties are ongoing.
The One Kenya Alliance Brigade sustained their campaign in the Western Kenya region on Saturday. While addressing residents in Kakamega County, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka scoffed at the decision by Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula to abandon OKA and forge an alliance with the United Democratic Alliance.
Wakati tukiomba hivyo nikafunua macho simuone ndugu David na simuone ndugu Weta. Mimi nikashangaa, sasa ninaanza kuomba nikifungua macho. Wangapi wananisaidia kuomba tukifungua macho? Kwa hivyo basi hatuna ubaya, hawa ni ndugu zetu, lakini uvumilivu. If you cannot withstand pressure, kuna jiwe moja inaitwa diamond. Bila kuweka pressure kubwa zaidi, huwezi kutoa a beautiful gem called a diamond.
The leaders announced that they are in talks with like-minded political leaders to formulate a formidable team and strategy for clinching power in the August polls.
Tumeanza kuzungumza na wengine, viongozi wengine wa Kenya ambao wanatoka chama zingine, ambao tunasema ni like-minded. So patie sisi hiyo nafasi tuzungumze, alafu tutafika hapa sisi sote.
Na sisi si waoga. Na sisi hakuna mtu atatukalia. Tukikaa kwa meza na dunia ya Kenya hii, tutasukuma tuhakikishe rais atatoka kwetu.
Hatutaki mtu atuletee maneno eti tuingie chama moja. Chama moja tulitoka, sasa tunataka vyama vingi na tunaungana tukisema safari hii mtachagua mtu na sio chama.
For Legends Edition, I'm Safin Aching.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Saturday met political leaders from Mandera County who paid him a courtesy call at State House, Nairobi. The president and the leaders allied to Jubilee Party and United Democratic Movement discussed matters of interest to Mandera County, among them the drought situation, food security, access to clean water and security.
The leaders led by Governor Ali Roba thanked the president for the successful implementation of several transformative infrastructure projects in Mandera County. At the same time, the Mandera County leaders assured the head of state of their undivided loyalty and continued backing as the country ushers in the electioneering season.
Tumetoka mbali pamoja na tunataka tuende bado mbali. Kwa sababu kazi, vile nilikuwa naambia vijana jana, kazi haishi na tamu moja ama tamu mbili. Kazi lazima iendelee. Sisi hatuna siasa ya matusi, sisi hatuna siasa ya chuki, ya? Sisi haja yetu ni maendeleo ya watu yetu.
Meanwhile, the president met with a section of Isiolo Jubilee Party political leaders at State House, Nairobi. The leaders commended the president of transforming the county through various development projects during his tenure. In the meeting, they discussed various issues affecting the county, among them security, drought and famine, which is currently affecting the region, and they requested government intervention in order to safeguard the residents of the county. The leaders equally assured the president of their continued support.
Otherwise mimi nimerudi nyumbani na mimi ni mtu yako ya mkono, ile maneno yote kidogo ilikuwa ni hasira.
We are be waiting so that you give us the direction. And we are ready any outfit, whether it is within Jubilee, because we would want to come, we don't want any one of us to remain behind.
Beatrice Getonyang-Etich, Legends Edition.
Nairobi Governor Anne Kananu's bid to run for Nairobi gubernatorial position has received a major boost after the Njuri Ncheke Council of Elders threw their weight behind her aspirations. The elders who were speaking in Nairobi said Kananu's track record speaks for itself.
Anne Kananu's bid at the Nairobi 2022 gubernatorial position has received a major boost after Njuri Ncheke Council of Elders pledged to support her quest to keep at the helm of Nairobi's top seat. The elders who spoke in Nairobi also pledged to rally key leaders behind her candidature, claiming the Meru community would support presidential candidates who support Kananu.
Niulize rais tena, sisi tuko tayari kusimama na yeye njia yoyote ile atatuambia tusimame naye, lakini tutasimama na yeye kama yeye atasimama na sisi jijini Nairobi, Kananu awe gavana wa Nairobi.
Nitasimama Nairobi kama governor 2022 na niwaambie hivi, I will make you proud. Community zote tusifanye politics za ukabila. Tufanye politics zile zitaleta azimio la umoja.
Meanwhile, the Roots Party of Kenya has endorsed Professor George Wajackoyah to run for presidency. Speaking during the event, Wajackoyah, who is the latest to join the presidential race, pledged to fix the police force, reduce working days to 4 days in a week, among other pledges.
I'm going to regulate immigration department. I'm telling Matiang'i today, juzi ulikuja wakasema kwamba kutakuwa na fast tracking. Show us how many people have become citizens in this country. People are suffering, they can't vote, they can't move, and when they are arrested, they are deported. Why? Is that the government you want? You call me a dictator. I think it's better to have a dictator for only 6 months in this country to fix things and to make things to go ahead. I'm not a soft president.
Meanwhile, former Rarieda Member of Parliament Nicholas Gumbo has accused section of Orange Democratic Movement officials of undermining Raila Odinga's prospects of becoming the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya by trying to lock out some parties from Azimio la Umoja.
Unfortunately, there are some people who still don't understand that Raila Amolo Odinga is more popular and bigger than ODM. But there are a number of people who have failed completely to deliver to the citizens, who want to turn Azimio rallies into ODM rallies. They are not friends of Raila Amolo Odinga, they are enemies of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Meanwhile, the National Council of Churches of Kenya have raised concern over civic education being administered by the government to Kenyans, saying it's not enough ahead of the general elections slated for August. The council says the body is mandated to regulate incitement, election rigging, and use of vulgar language have failed in combating the same.
Development partners and friends of Kenya to support non-government agencies to deliver comprehensive and nationwide civic education to empower Kenyans to effectively engage in electoral and governance process.
For Legends Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, with that political wrap, with Gladys Mungai, we now take a break, and when we come back, of course, Jennifer Ririer, Dr. Jennifer Ririer, the woman who brought financing to women, is going to be our guest on Living Legends tonight.
Ili kupata mapenzi ni jina tu, kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, dial *811 *815 hash.
Mapenzi ni jina tu, lakini mtu anaweza kulipa maana. Inaweza kuwa mpenzi wako, jamaa, rafiki, mfanyikazi mwenzako, jirani. Unaweza kupata mapenzi kutoka kwa mtu yoyote. Chagua kueneza upendo, na muhimu, jipe zaidi.
Kupata mapenzi ni jina tu, dial *811 *815 hash. *811 *815 hash.
Do you have a new story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Welcome back. A woman in Nairobi's Makadara area is seeking financial aid from well-wishers for the treatment of her 2-year-old baby who was diagnosed with chronic constipation leading to the removal of her colon. As Purity Museo reports, Maureen Amondi, a single mother of 5, requires at least 500,000 Kenya shillings for scheduled surgery and management of her baby's condition. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is a mother's love for her child? It's the kind of love like what Maureen Amondi has for her 2-year-old baby, who for those years has stuck on her hip. Since baby Savannah Athiambo was diagnosed with chronic constipation in 2019, weeks after her birth, her mother's life has never been the same again.
Wakati alipelekwa hospitali, alipatikana tumbo imefura. Kufanyiwa rectal biopsy, tulipata kona colon probe. Nilimpeleka hospitali immediately, hospitali yenye iko karibu. Wakanipea madawa zingine nijaribu, ilikataa. Ikabidi wakani transfer Kenyatta.
The condition has seen Maureen visit countless health facilities.
Kuna wakati nikirudi Kenyatta wakaniambia ningoje kidogo. Wakati nangoja naona tumbo inazidi kufura. Kuna daktari nilikuwa na namba yake wa Kenyatta, nikampigia akanipea solution. Sasa naendanga St. Francis Hospital. Ndiye alifanyiwa hii colon. Kuenda choo iko shida, lazima atobolewe. Sasa alifanywa kitu inaitwa colostomy. Kwa sasa akona colostomy. Anaenda choo na tumbo.
The turn of events has affected Savannah's normal growth, with the management of her condition becoming an expensive affair. Her husband left her in the process.
Hii ugonjwa wake ilifanya mzee akatoroka. Wakati anaona ninamwitisha pesa ya kwenda hospitali, akasema yeye hajawahi zaa, kwao hakuna shida kama hii. Ni mimi nimeleta shida kama hii.
She requires 500,000 Kenyan shillings for urgent scheduled surgery and management of her baby's condition.
Alishafanyiwa colostomy, inafaa aende ingine inaitwa pull through ya kutengeneza hiyo colostomy sasa. Because huko kuna place iko ndogo ndio inafanya choo iwezi toka.
To help baby Savannah lead a normal life, channel your help to her mother, Athiambo. Her mobile number is 0710 327 031. Purity Museo, The Legends Edition.
Thank you, Purity, for that story. Well, the once big Isiolo River that used to provide sufficient water for both domestic use, irrigation, and even for wild animals that live within the Buffalo Springs Game Reserve is now on the verge of drying up. And in an effort to ensure that wildlife and the people living downstream do not suffer, a community-based organization, CBO in Isiolo, has now come up with various strategies to protect the river catchment area and springs through planting trees and sensitizing residents on the importance of conserving the river.
The once huge and vibrant river is now a pale shadow of its former self. The river once upon a time used to provide water for domestic use, irrigation, and even for wild animals at the Buffalo Springs Game Reserve. Now, that seems to be history, given that the river is almost drying up owing to climate change and human activities. The state of affairs has seen a local community-based organization come to its aid.
Saizi tumekuwa na uhaba wa maji, tumekuwa na vita siku baada nyingine kwa sababu ya maji. Ni kwa sababu springs, mali ma springs ziko, hakuna protection ambayo imewekwa, na ndio kitu ambayo ilitufanya sana tufikirie jambo kama hii,
kwa sababu tatizo kubwa ni maji kufika downstream, ambayo ni changamoto tumepata sana. Upande wa upstream wengi ni wakulima.
Madhara ya magonjwa kwa sababu hakuna maji, tunashota mabakisho pengine ya ndofu, vile ndofu imekanyanga, mabakisho ya ng'ombe, mabakisho ya mbuzi, na pia tumbili pia iko hapo, mabakisho yake tunashota.
Osenoni community-based organization chairperson Anthony Chibruko says the organization will mainly focus on protecting the springs along the river and sensitize locals to adhere to laid down regulations by the Water Resource Authority.
Kuna miti ambaye zimepotea kwa hii mto na ilikuwa kwa hii mto. Ingine ilikuwa ni dawa, ingine ni matunda ya watoto wa zamani, ingine ilikuwa inatumika kwa chai na spices zingine ambazo zinatumika, lakini kwa saa hizi kwa sababu ya interference ya watu vile wameisumbua, hakuna saa hizi zimeanza kupotea.
Mohamed Madera, who is the chief warden of Kenya Wildlife Service in Isiolo County, commended efforts that are being initiated by the residents with an aim to protect Isiolo River and other springs.
Hizo springs zote tutahifadhi na tuanze kupanda miti tukiwa na wananchi, tufanye sensitization kwamba tusiwe na shida kama ya miaka iliyopita.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has given private schools leeway to establish CBC junior secondary schools. Professor Magoha at the same time called for speedy payment of contractors undertaking the construction of competency-based curriculum classrooms. He was inspecting tuition blocks in Kakamega County.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha was in Kakamega County, where he opened tuition blocks at St. Mary's Girls High School and Muslim Girls in Mumias. It is here where the CS called on the private schools to complement the government in the establishment of competency-based curriculum junior secondary schools.
If you have a private primary school which is going to grade 8, we are encouraging them, those who can afford, to work with us and also create solo junior secondary schools, which we shall approve. This has been an open secret. It will then mean that they just add 2 classrooms and invest in teachers.
The CS at the same time cautioned against delayed payment to contractors who had already completed their work, as the money had already been released by the government.
And anybody who is being asked to pay anything before documents are processed should come directly to my office in Jogo. We as a government shall make sure that that person ceases to work for this government. To the people who are charged with the payments, I would want us to, today is Saturday, and I'm working, they must also work and ensure that the contractors are paid.
Magoha disclosing that so far 1,080 CBC classes had been completed, with others already commissioned for use. The CS also toured Bungoma County, where he commissioned 3 classrooms constructed at a cost of 2.1 million shillings. Magoha put in on notice principals from across the country sending learners home to collect school fees.
If you find somebody is keeping a child who is going to do an examination at home, if you are a coward and you don't want to take action, send the name to me. I will order the police to arrest the principal. That's why if we find that the parent is able and is the one who doesn't want to pay, we shall arrest the parent.
Nancy Okware, Legends Edition.
Striking Moi University doctor lecturers have resumed work. The doctors called off the strike after a closed-door meeting between the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU. Secretary General Davji Atel, Chief Administrative Secretary Professor Simon Nabukwesi, and the university's Vice Chancellor Professor Isaac Kosgei. This and more stories coming up in counties.
It is after a 4-hour meeting that KMPDU urged all doctor lecturers at the institution to resume work after 77 days of unrest. Chief Cabinet Secretary, State Department of University Education and Research, Simon Nabukwesi, called on the union to hold meetings with the government from time to time to avert such scenarios.
Disruptions
delay completion, they make studies more expensive, and they cause a bad culture in our country.
We've been able to reach an amicable solution and even signed our return to work formula, in which we are going to clear all the areas in due course.
The resumption of duty by the lecturers or doctor lecturers await the monies in the account, which will occur next week.
And various government training institutions as well as international organizations have put in place programs geared towards enhancing the number of women and girls pursuing science, technology, engineering and mathematical courses. United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO Regional Director for Eastern and Central Africa, Professor Herbert Gizen, has said they have developed a program in STEM education where they link young girls to women who inspire them to specialize in sciences.
Women who are doing amazing things in the fields of medicine, in life sciences, in physics and chemistry, in biology, etc. We are linking these women to the young girls in the secondary school so that they can mentor them.
Elsewhere, at least 500 people who fled their homes following continued banditry attacks in Muchugoi division of Baringo County have benefited from food aid courtesy of well-wishers.
Hata tukipewa chakula fenye tunapewa sahi hakuna kitu, sababu hii watu mbaya wakaiti ya Pokot wachaondosho.
Meanwhile, religious leaders have been urged to step up the war against drug abuse among young believers for a drugs-free society. In an anti-drugs abuse forum held in Kajiado Mosque, courtesy of the ministry and Egyptian embassy, the importance of engaging young believers in the impact of drug abuse on individuals and the society was underscored.
Kama tunaweza pata mtoto wa miaka 13, miaka 14, miaka 15 anaweza kutumia mihadarati na anajua kutumia mihadarati, kesho hatutakuwa na taifa.
And parents in northeastern part of the country have been urged to enroll their children to school to benefit from the competency-based curriculum. Teachers in Mandera East sub-county note that CBC was a step in the right direction towards the attainment of reliable skills for future use by learners.
Mfumo wa CBC unasaidia kila mtoto, awe nani, awe nini, kila mtoto anasaidika na mfumo wa CBC.
Leader of Majority in the National Assembly, Amos Kimunya, says the National Assembly will hasten the enactment of the Children's Bill 2021 before the end of the term of the 12th Parliament. Some of the highlights in the bill is the proposed change of the age of a child to appear in court from 8 years to 12 years.
The meeting between the Labour and Social Welfare Committee and various stakeholders to discuss the proposed Children's Bill 2021 kicked off in Mombasa County Saturday. At one point, and due to the sensitivity of the issues that needed to be presented by the children who are accompanied by their parents and guardians, journalists were asked to temporarily leave the room. Several issues, however, emerged with Lady Justice Teresia Madheka underscoring the need for a budget to cater for the children welfare.
So when we talk about rehabilitating children who have committed offenses, hatuna sufficient places because pesa haijawekwa ya kutengeneza hizi mahali. Na pia tusitengeneze tuweke watu wa kusaidia watoto wabadilike wakiingia huko.
Leader of Majority in Parliament Amos Kimunya noting that among the changes that need to be looked into the proposed bill is the change of age of the child to appear in court from 8 years to 12 years old.
The current act says any child over 8 years can be taken to court, can be held liable for criminal vulnerability. But this bill is now pushing that age from 8 to 12, right? So because of recognition of what has happened in actual practice.
He called upon the legislators and other stakeholders to work together with speed to ensure that the bill is passed before the end of the 12th Parliament term.
And I want you to call upon each member of Parliament, each senator, to remember there is a child at home
in their constituency. There are children everywhere. And we owe it to the children of Kenya to provide them with this law. We've done it for ourselves. Political parties bill to repeat it haraka. Now I want to see the same speed with the children.
For Legends Edition from Mombasa County, I am Anburu.
Well, we take another break. When we come back, Topi Liambila will be walking us through the Winter Olympics in Sports Legends.
Nabonga na watoi kujua mambo za online, pia na create time wafanye vitu offline. Tungeni gadgets na sites wana use, msiwache strangers wapate chance kuwa abuse.
Nimeshindaje pesa kompe sija participate. Unadai info yangu na ikwe private say. Identity yangu haupati hautumi. Kitu zangu ni zangu na bado nitazishikilia.
Una post story ati ni real news. Mimi sikuamini mpaka nione sasa hizo vis. Una text online to me tunanifeel. Staki jokes mimi nitakureport for real.
Wazazi, watoi na maithu wetu. Don't be fooled. Get cyber smart and enjoy safe entertainment and education online.
The Communications Authority of Kenya. Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako.
Yeah, welcome once again to the sports edition. In the Legends edition this Saturday evening, I'm Topi Liambila to take you through the sports. And the highlights tonight, we have got the Agnes Tirop Cross Classic, Golf Magical Open, soccer results, and the Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Now, on the 31st of October last year, the sporting fraternity was hit by a gloom day with the news of the death of one of the star athletes in Agnes Tirop. Of course, many of us will not forget that fateful day, and for a long time, the sporting fraternity will celebrate that. Now, the Athletics Kenya has come up with a national classic christened the Agnes Tirop Cross Country National, which we're going to talk about now. Now, the national champion Samuel Chebolei and Joyce Chepkemoi extended their good run this season, winning the inaugural Agnes Tirop World Cross Country Tour in Lobo Village, Kapsaret, Uasin Gishu County. The meet marked the end of the cross-country series this season.
Champion Samuel Chebolei extended his good run, winning the men's 10-kilometer race in 29 minutes 46 seconds. Nicholas Kimeli came in second, while Michael Kibet finished third.
Na mambo ya mazoezi, I think hiyo itakuwa concern na coaches, maana wamekuwa mahali hapa na wamekuwa wakiona labda maybe mahali ambapo sijakuwa nikifanya mzuri, watajua ni nini ambayo ndaenda kufanya baada ya hapa.
The script was the same in the women's race, national champion Joyce Chepkemoi winning the title. Chepkemoi stayed in the leading pack, and with few meters to go, she sprinted home in 34 minutes 02 seconds. Margaret Chelimo came in second, while Mesfin Chepleting settled for that position.
Shukuru Mungu kwa kuwa nimekuwa mshindi siku ya leo. Sikuwa natarajia juu nilikuwa najua kuna wageni kutoka Ethiopia.
In the boys under 18 kilometer 6 kilometer race, 2022 Discovery 8 kilometer winner Ismail Kirui emerged victorious, clocking 12 minutes 09 seconds ahead of Vincent Mayo and Rafael Dapash, who came in second and third respectively. In the girls 5-kilometer race, Jaylin Chepkemoi took top honors ahead of Maureen Chepkoech and Pamela Kosgei, who completed the podium dash.
Niliweza kuwin
matope ndio ilikuwa challenging sana. Vile niliweza sasa kuwin, nilitoa viatu yangu ili niweze niwin.
Race ilikuwa mzuri lakini ilikuwa na changamoto mingi sana. Huwa mimi nikianza race nikisikia mwili nakubali ninaenda.
We have the requisite passion, commitment, determination, and now the organizational skills to hold a World Athletics event.
Over 300 athletes took part in the inaugural Agnes Tirop cross-country meet.
The Agnes Tirop Memorial Meet marks the end of the World Cross Country Series, with focus now shifting to the World Championship and the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. Reporting for Legends Edition Sports in Kapsaret, Kasavuli County, I'm Karanja David.
What a great way to remember such a star athlete with that cross-country classic. Now, Sweden's Lina Strom is on course to win her maiden Magical Kenya Ladies Open title after maintaining the lead for the third day in a row at the Baobab Golf Course in Vipingo, Kilifi County. Strom, who won the gold in the mixed category at the 2014 Youth Olympic Games, carded 2 birdies in the first 9 but dropped short in holes 1 and 3 for 36 in. In the back 9, the Swede carded 36 for a score of level par 72 for a total of 3 under par 213. Spain's Luna Sobron Gomez is second with a round of 4 under par 68 for a total of 1 under par 215. While defending champion Esther Hanseleit of Germany is joined third after a round of 3 under par 69 today for a total score level of par 216. Kenya had 4 players in the event, but they all missed the cut that was set at 11 par over par 155. The event, which attracted 94 players from 23 countries, comes to a close tomorrow at the Baobab Golf Course in Vipingo, Kilifi County. The total prize of the fund is 39 million Kenya shillings.
She is at 1 over par after a 71 on day 2. 3-time Ladies European Tour winner Nuria.
Kenyan Premier League leaders Kakamega Homeboys continued their form of brilliance after hammering Mathare United 3-1 in a match that was played Saturday afternoon at the Kasarani Stadium. In other matches, Tusker claimed a 2-0 win over Ulinzi Stars, while Sofapaka beat Wazito 2-1. KCB settled for a barren draw against Bandari, while Talanta FC beat Bitco United by a solitary goal. Mwoki with the details. Hydra Swim and Sports Club and Makini schools bagged the lion's share of the medals on day 1 of the NCAA swimming championships held at the Makini School in Nairobi. The 2-day event brought together 27 swimming clubs. Mwendwa with our report today.
Christabel Mudhui of Hydra Swim and Sports Club won the girls 9 to 12 years 200 meters butterfly ahead of Hailey Heidal and Alma Garuhia, who came in second and third respectively. Kemunto Malia won the 10 to 11 years 100 meters individual medley ahead of Chadaria Ahashi and Sulu Eden, who completed the top 3 position.
It was wonderful. Yeah, I enjoyed it because I've won all my races. I don't think there's any challenges because I've done my best. I've done.
I didn't find it difficult. I am actually happy that I improved my times. I was aiming for that. I knew the competition was going to be tough, but after I saw not so many people, I knew I couldn't give up, and so I just went on.
It's been tight, which I think was good because it helped me push myself beyond what I would do. Yeah, so it gave me a lot of competition.
27 teams took part in the NCAA Swimming Championship held in Makini School. For Legends Edition, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Local under-18 girls tennis players say that they will prepare adequately for the upcoming African Junior Championships that will ensure that they give the best to fly the Kenyan flag. This comes after the finale of the ITF Tour Junior Championship at the Nairobi Sports Club, where 14 Kenyan players had participated, aiming to secure a ticket to the Junior Championship slated for March. The event had attracted 17 countries, including hosts Kenya, England, Belgium and Brazil. Mwendwa was on hand to file the following report. Now, East African Breweries Limited, EABL, has reiterated its commitment to promote diversity and inclusivity through supporting women in sports. Speaking on the sidelines of the currently ongoing Magical Kenya Ladies Open in Vipingo Ridge, Kilifi County, East African Breweries Managing Director Jen Karuku said that the company will continue to support women's sports as it seeks to entrench the values of diversity and inclusivity in the communities within which it operates.
We therefore want to support sport as a way of supporting the communities where we operate. Now, for example, we do a lot of sponsorships for a long time, soccer, rugby, and golf. And recently, like you said, in the last 2 years, we've supported LPGA, which is really top-of-range golfers coming to East Africa. And the reason we are doing that is because we want to improve gender representation in sports.
Looked to be on course to chase down the leader when she set herself.
On the continental scene, Moroccan giants Wydad Club Athletic started their group phase of the Total Energies CAF Champions League with a 3-0 victory at home against Angolan rookies GD Zagrada Esperanza at the Mohammed Complex in Casablanca. Second half goals from skipper Yahya Jebrane's penalty and Congolese forward Guy Mbenza added on to a first half strike from Ashraf Dari to give the club of the Emperor 3 vital points at home. From China, Canada's women's ice hockey team showed a stellar performance at Hamad, Sweden 11-0 in the ongoing Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, China. The team advanced to the semi-finals after claiming a 4-0, 5-0 and 2-0 win in the first, second and third period respectively. Meanwhile, USA beat Czech Republic 4-1. Some of the highlights. And last but not least, Manchester United yet again failed to secure a spot in the top 4 positions.
Surely bound to be. Shea Adams, Woolwich!
And that's all we had for you from the sports desk this Saturday evening on the Legends Edition. I'm Topili Mbila, and hoping that you'll be with us again throughout the week, and expect to meet up again next Saturday for another Bamba edition of the Legends Edition. Now we take a break and we come back. Catherine will be on standby to introduce our talk show tonight.
Nilipoliza alikuwa bado. Nilipojibu alikuwa tayari. Bado tayari. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Msaliti. Ngoja sana. Thought job ilisha 5.
How did you get in here?
Nakumbuka mara ya mwisho ulinitoroka.
Arnold, nimesikia.
Najua. Nilikuwa pale. Yule mwana Isaya Kazala alitusaliti, alituchuma, alitoroka na madini yote na kutuachia polisi. I swear I'll kill him with my bare hands. I'm not going to jail. Never, you hear me?
Lakini anarudi.
Mama Jenny.
Mama mka.
Love, love, love.
Love is in the air.
It's celebrated in all phones worldwide. There is the Kenyan love.
Looks like it's Valentine's Day.
The children's love. The ladies' love.
I swear that I'm dying to feel myself in your arms.
The gentleman's love. Love that is comic.
No money that I have.
Dramatic.
Please don't do this to me. I have to talk to her.
Sporty. Breathtaking. Whatever your choice, let it rain this February with love.
This is getting better and best.
Only on KBC Channel 1.
Well, thank you so much for watching KBC Channel 1. This is the Legends Edition. And of course, we've gotten to the Living Legends segment. And today, we are hosting none other than Dr. Jennifer Riria.
Welcome, I'm Fayaz Qureshi. On the Living Legends tonight, we speak to a champion of women's empowerment through finance and civil rights. She steered a financial institution from a single office operation to one that now has a national presence. As a published author, she has documented the history of Kenya's higher education. We speak to distinguished microfinance banker and practitioner, researcher and gender specialist, Dr. Jennifer Riria. Let's start off by you telling us about your early life, where you were born, your education, and your early career as a teacher.
Thank you, Quresh. I am, as you have said, I'm Dr. Jennifer Riria. I am I'm fourth of 10 children, and the fourth girl, born at the foot of Mount Kenya. Now they call it the mountain. And I grew up like any other village girl, fetching water, fetching firewood, cooking, carrying babies on my back, and going to school, a local school.
And you walked barefoot to school?
Barefoot 4 kilometers to school and back, in cold and in wet, and I performed very well at that point in time. Got the S grades. Nobody has ever beaten them in that school. And I then joined Precious Blood Secondary School.
How did you do it? You know, when all odds are against you, you're not from a privileged background. No. How did you do it?
Yes, I come from a very poor background. My father was just a peasant like others. My mother, of course, accompanied my father in the peasantry life. We didn't have any luxuries that you have. I slept on my small bed, and my chicken slept under my bed. And it didn't bother me. I didn't know any other life. We went to school. I think my success is at that point in time was my mother. My mother never went to school, but she was a very strong woman who knew and pronounced it that there's no daughter of mine, as long as I live, who is going to live the life that I have led. I've lived a life of struggle, a life of disproportionate disadvantages. You can't do that.
So she was the driving force behind you.
She was the driving force.
So good at that point in time to have a woman with that kind of mindset.
I truly get amazed, because I think my mother never went to school. My father never went to school. But my mother, the resilience of my mother, taught us girls, because we were seven girls. We are 6 now. But it taught us that you have got to stand by what you think is true. My dad, on the other hand, was the protective person who will be very harsh to protect you from straying.
I think that's the foundation for your hiring. Now, after teaching at Kabete Technical and State House schools, you also pursued a master's degree in education administration and later a PhD in women's education and development.
I studied for, first of all, a diploma in education and administration. And then I did education, MA in education. And with that, I came back and looking around, I already decided I do not want to see women suffer the way they do. My PhD was on women education and development. Because what I needed to do, what I wanted to do was to link education to the betterment of women, because it began bettering me from a very poor village girl to somebody driving when I came back, you know, and on a car, and I'm driving, and I'm doing research, and I thought other women should do this.
So your master's degree in education administration and the PhD in women's education and development. What did your research work for these 2 degrees reveal about Kenya's education sector in those years?
What it revealed was that women are left out. They're excluded. Nobody thinks the gender perspective provision of not only education but other services.
You realize that?
Yes, I realized that exclusion of women is, you know, from the mainstream. Girls will be streamlined to study literature, not sciences, you know, to be teachers. And I'm not saying these careers are bad, they're important, but see where the power lies.
You joined the Kenya Women's Finance Trust in 1991. What was the organization that you found, and how did your work experience shape the vision you wanted for KWFT?
I left the UN to come to Kenya Women. I came into Kenya Women, you know, now it's the bank, but I came to KWFT, then Kenya Women Finance Trust, from UN. And I came as a project of UNDP. That's how I got into here, to try and sort out the issues of an institution that should last to serve women. So the experiences from not only what I studied, because now I'd already studied and I got my PhD by the time I got here, the experience was this, that there is need to have institutions, strong institutions, that will survive me, that will survive my generation and will go on to the next generation. That dream, that was a dream. I can tell you that was a dream. It was not. I would stand with women because of this group methodology. I would have 800 women, 1,000 women at KICC grounds. And I would stand up and tell them, stand with me. We are going to build a bank for women in this country. And they will look at me and they will say, you know, are you crazy? Really?
So what organizational structures and controls you put in place to stabilize the organization at that point in time, which was a mess, right? To achieve your set out objectives?
When I came into the organization, there was no organization. Everything had fallen apart and people had gone away. Nobody, you talk about that institution and they say, we don't want to know about that.
You were ready to do anything. Your Wikipedia says you even worked as a receptionist.
I cleaned the office.
And a janitor, yes. Is that actually true?
It is true.
You're an extremely down-to-earth person.
What would you do? Do you stay under the office because you don't have a cleaner? I would clean the office until I got somebody to do that work. And I would, the first to begin with, I had to think, what systems am I going to put in place? I'm getting in financial services. I'm not a banker. I wasn't a banker then. I'm a banker now. But I wasn't a banker then. I was a social scientist then.
So I am a self-made banker in the sense that I had to go to school and to study and to get exposed and to visit these people. I'm telling you, and to develop my own, myself as a banker. We had to begin with, there had to be a structure and governance structure. There was no governance structure, then broken down. We had to put in a governance structure that understands my mind. And it was not easy because there are people, that's what I was telling you, there are pushbacks. There were pushbacks not to do that. So I established a governance structure with a board that separated the role of the board and the role of management, because that was the biggest problem. When you combine the two, you don't, board members can't come and do what I do every day. We have to professionalize the institution, then bring policies and procedures to govern the management of the institution, which including reporting procedures and so forth and so on. Then the biggest is we had to have friends. We had to create networks that would help us to be able to, to fundraise, to go on. I can tell you when I began the institution and $650.
Wow.
To give loans, to pay salaries, to do what I have to do. Now you're looking at a bank.
Thanks to all your efforts.
Well, it's not only me.
I'm sure you must have a good team as well.
I have a good team, I have a good governance structure, good policies in place, and a team that understands this is where we are going, and you are able to pull them up.
I'm sure growth comes with threats and opportunities.
Yes.
How did you mitigate the threats to KWFT and make the best out of the opportunities?
I think, as I said to you just now, you have to have policies and procedures that resonate with what the acceptable professional standards require. You have to be seen to be transparent. You have to be seen to be an achiever. You have to be seen and be known to report the right thing, and you're an achiever. People will come to your support. Now, the challenges, the patriarchal challenges that I faced, first I put God first, and then secondly, there's a lot of teaching and reaching out and a lot of mobilizing around people to understand what you're doing. As soon as people begin realizing there's benefit in what you do, so you have to stand to be counted for deliverables. And that's what we did. We began reporting 100% repayment rate. We are reaching so many women as we go on every day. We are increasing the little loans to bigger loans. People began realizing, oh, this is a good institution for women to belong. So you have to sell it. You don't have a choice. So selling the product was one of the biggest things we had to do.
You had a very good product and it was well managed.
It was very well managed.
And successful.
Yeah. Thanks to God.
Okay, in 2010, so Kenya Women Microfinance Bank and Kenya Women Holding, these were formed in 2010, the inception of these two organizations. Yes. Tell us about these two institutions and their respective roles.
When we applied for a license, for a banking license, which was a big process, it was not a one-off. It is not the way you apply for a license from the registrar of companies. This was a journey from 2004. We prepared until 2009. We were ready to be licensed. We were licensed by Central Bank. Now, once we were licensed, we had to make a very serious decision that we need financial services. Women are just not about money. Women are about life, about themselves, about their families, about leadership in this country that has completely left them out. So we decided, the strategy was, let's have one side of the institution that takes care of the financial services for women. Let's have another side that takes care of the non-financial services. So I opted to get a younger person to run with the financial services. I remained as the mother company. So we had two institutions. One was now a subsidiary company at that time. Now it's an associate company of Kenya Women Holding, which in 2018 I rebranded to Eco Network Africa, where we are sitting.
So Kenya Women Holding is now Eco Network Africa.
Now, the reason for this was we with the lessons we have learned in serving women, both in financial and non-financial services, it's time to break out to the region. And to be carried in this branding, Eco Network Africa. So that to take financial, non-financial services to the region. Now, what are the non-financial services? I'd like to talk about that a little bit. It is that arm of positioning women in the democratic processes and in this society. At the moment, we are in that realm. We are trying to tell political parties, for example, I'm just giving you an example of what these non-financial services mean. If you have to position women in the society, they need to be in the mainstream. They are completely excluded, or not excluded, not completely, but the exclusion is very prevalent, especially at the level of the political parties. And we are telling the political parties, could you include women? The Constitution is very clear that any gender, any affiliation should not have more than two that's innate of one gender. So we are asking the political parties, can they, for goodness sake, get women at the nomination level, because that's where women get excluded. And we are basically preparing women now to make sure that they go for that. We are also asking the aspirants, the presidential aspirants, and these are very serious statements I'm making, because we are going to make sure that they make a difference. They need to get involved, and we are asking the politicians, those who are vying for presidential positions, to get women as running mates, because we are not threatening. We will practically tell the women, don't vote these men.
Besides the KWFT, which you're known for, you're also a crusader for social justice. Yes. I'm just going to continue this question. Yes. You also have the Jennifer Ridia Foundation that supports girls to get back to school after early pregnancy or other social ills. Educate the Net 235 Girls Initiative, benefit girls from financially needy families. And the Tuvuke Initiative that champions democratic ideals without necessarily being affiliated to a political party. This saw you honored by the Ford Foundation as a champion of democracy.
At 2013, during the elections, before and after, I coordinated from this office 16 civil society organizations fighting for peace. Our major goal was to make sure we are delivering to peace. It doesn't matter what you are doing. You might be in ICT, you are in communication. We are all trying to get peace. How do we use you to get peace? How do you get you to make sure we understand where there are problems and trigger those messages to somebody else? Really coordinated the effort. It worked. We had peace. People called it they called it what? They called it the fever of peace, thinking it's going to break down. We have had that peace until now, we thank God. There are other actors as well. In my capacity as the CEO of this institution of Eco Network Africa, one of our major pillars is to make sure that women's rights are respected. and women are included in the political systems and in the democratic processes. So we look around and see where there is action, where women are not, and we make sure that we make the action happen.
Now, you've received various honors. The state honor of MBS by the Corporate Council of Africa for your work in financing. Ernst & Young honored you as Entrepreneur of the Year, East Africa 2013, as Entrepreneur of the Year 2014, and you were inducted to their Hall of Fame. The list is endless. I'll go on. CEO Global honored you as Africa's most influential woman in business and government. Among them was the Africa Lifetime Achiever and Continental Lifetime Achiever. Doesn't end. Women of the Decade in Innovation and Leadership Award by the All Ladies League and Women Economic Forum, WEF, in 2017. I must commend you, and I need to give you that shake.
Thank you.
You are a woman of substance and inspiration to all Kenyan women across the board, I think. How do these awards inspire you and the people you work with?
The thing is, these not awards that are financially awarded. They have no financial worth. They have a spiritual push. Each award sees me innovating or moving to a different direction in trying to just stay on the course of empowering and positioning women. They give you the extreme feeling that I'm on the right path. And you keep on asking me, what keeps you moving? That's what keeps me moving. That we are getting somewhere, that somebody's recognizing that we are doing this. So can we do this other? This has been recognized. Can we do this other? And at the same time, you're bringing everybody along with you, and you're achieving.
We could go on for hours and hours. There's so much to learn from you and all your experiences. Thank you very much. It's been an extreme privilege and honor. You are a true living legend. Dr. Jennifer Rieria, asante sana.
Thank you very much, Kuresh, for having me and having our award. Thank you.
It's been an extreme pleasure speaking to Dr. Jennifer Rieria, a leader in microfinance who has impacted women across the country. Her work as a champion for fair elections without aligning to any political party has seen her honored by the Ford Foundation. Dr. Rieria believes that every child should have access to a good education and does so through the Educate the Net 235 Girls initiative. It has been an extreme pleasure to have Dr. Jennifer Rieria tell her story on The Living Legends. I am Fayaz Qureshi. Thank you for joining us.
Well, on that note, we say have a good evening. This is KBC Channel 1. My name is Catherine Kasavuli, and this is the Legends Edition. And of course, our sign language interpreter has been Byron Abuli, and Topi Liambila was here just a few minutes ago. Of course, he's wound up with his sports. So we are winding up. The director is telling me time's up. So on behalf of everyone who's made this show possible, we say thank you so very much, and do have a wonderful evening. We love you. Enjoy.